Welcome back to the press review segment of Good Morning Anambra. And as you can see, we have our guest with us this morning. We have Dominic Nnamdi Okabwe. Dominic is a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning, our viewers. Good morning, Danambara, and Happy New Year.
All right, you also have Camry Mandi Ezenago, also a public affairs analyst. Mandi, Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
All right, glad to have you on the show this morning. So, like I said earlier, we are starting with the stories that are trending on our website, and the very first story we have there is a Saludo inaugurate road project in Obo community. Anambra State Police arrest 30 criminal suspects. Anambra State government suspends Iwe Damian Ezani of Neni as traditional ruler. These are the top three stories we have on our website this morning. Let's start with the inauguration of a road project in Omo community.
Okay, that's fantastic. And it is fantastic because Soludo said he came prepared. He applied for the job, and the job was given to him. And Anambra today, before now, one of the challenges facing the state is the challenges of deplorable road infrastructure. Yes, we've had an airport and other, signature projects, but the issue of road remains a very Herculean, task. And that is why not only me, because it is an open fact, since the governor came in, he has been very, very serious about road construction. That is in addition to numerous effectiveness in other sectors of the economy, but particularly on the issue of road. Governor Soludo is doing extremely wonderful. And not just road, he's building a very quality road. We must give it to him. So I'm not surprised that a road was inaugurated in Obu.
Also note that this particular project that the governor inaugurated was built by a philanthropist, a community leader in Obu community. And so the governor was there when he was commissioning. He was also encouraging people to, be part of the public-private community, initiative of coming together to see how we can make our state what we want it to be.
Yes, you see, we are talking of Obo. He also inaugurated one at Umweri, built by an illustrious son of the community, popularly known as Igwe Nyeloko. You see, when he was calling on Anambra over think home philosophy, it is part of the call, do you understand? It's encouraging people to come and invest in the state, do you understand? But then, they were able to do this because the government have provided enabling environment for them to come in. There was a time people doesn't come to Anambra over insecurity. They understand. All these philanthropists, Anambra has a lot of, illustrious sons and daughters, but most of them are scared. But now that the environment has been calm, security has been provided. Yes, we have challenges in one or two areas, but Rome was not built in a day. With time, all these things we settled. So it's a noble achievement. And we call on more Indian Anambra to emulate what these people have done.
All right, thank you so much. Amandi, do you want to talk about that, or you want to add your own view on Anambra State Police arresting 30 criminal suspects?
Let me go to the arrest of 30 criminal suspects. It is a welcome development that we will appreciate, and it is also the fight and also the path and the promise that the government has given us to secure our lives and to secure our properties, and also give us an enabling environment to go about our daily activities. It is a welcome development, and on the other hand, please, they should be prosecuted. Yes, if found guilty, not just arrest, maybe after 2 months or 3 months they will be released on bail, or they should be prosecuted, because every crime has its penalty. They should face the full wrath of the law if found guilty. So we commend the police for that, and we know that it was in the case of all this, at least we know that during this time of the Yuletide and the New Year period, that there were lots of patrols around Anambra State, which the governor assisted in securing our environment. So we also appreciate them, and we tell them, please, let these criminals face the full wrath of the law.
All right, thank you so much. Let's quickly go to the papers we have for the day.
And the first paper for review this morning is the Daily Sun, with the banner headline screaming, "Suspended Minister Betta Edu whisked away in security truck." And the rider says, "Denied access to Tinubu, Asu Rock tag withdrawn." Also, the President directs Finance Minister to conduct diagnostic investigations. EFCC begins grilling today. Violations of rights, courts awards Emefiele 100 million damages against federal government. EFCC to appeal judgment. Federal government, some states implementing grand plot against Igbo. That's coming from Bianca Ojukwu. You can find more of that story on page 28 of the Daily Sun. Rivers Court reverses judgment in Speaker's suit against Fubura National Assembly. UBA surpasses 1 trillion naira market capitalization mark amid impressive financial recognitions. Court adjourns Nnamdi Kanu's 1 billion suit against federal government DSS until March the 4th. Federal government wrecking Nigeria's economy with huge debt. That's coming from Peter Obi. The writer there says, brands Tinubu's government, epitome of profligacy. Abia North APC support group hails Carlo. That's and much more you find on the page, on the front page of the Daily Sun. Quickly, Okabwe.
Yes, you see, the bone of contention is the suspended minister for humanitarian affairs and the poverty alleviation. It has been the talk of the town. Most times I wonder whether something is wrong with this ministry, because before this incident, the former minister of the same ministry also was involved in a scandal of financial misappropriation of over 7.1 billion. Okay? And just 2 days ago, this unfortunate incident of 585 million was also, recorded. It's unfortunate because if you trace the genesis of the incident, you understand that there is something fishy somewhere, because every ministry has their budget and the way of disbursing fund. It might
over 88 trillion naira debt at the end of the day, because we are not, it is not something, in fact, economically, it is zero. It is zero, it is nothing. So they are using this huge debt to wreck the nation. I don't know if they borrow it, they share within themselves. And when they recover the looted funds, the looted fund will still be looted by another group of persons, which at the end of the day, there is no record, there is no account. Just as the case of this, the former humanitarian affair, of which her case was coming up by last week, even when she was invited by the EFCC. EFCC were even pronouncing that even the former president will also be invited for interrogation and all that. You find out that this is just a group of people looting our funds, looting looted funds, looting recovered looted funds, and also looting the borrowed funds, which they project that it will be used for infrastructure to develop the nation. And we can't even tell. Actually, we were told that before Christmas, that Port Harcourt refinery will start functioning. What is happening today?
It's just after Christmas.
They said before Christmas.
That's what I'm saying, and we are after Christmas. So let's wait and see.
So you see, all these empty promises. What about the Dangote refineries? They've not told us the political views or the political positions or the political gain that they have in all this. So all these things that they're doing is just, they're just using it to enrich themselves and not to develop the nation and not to develop the country. Because you find out that the country today is even, the economy is even is worse now than the past few months. So you see, we don't know where we are heading to.
No problem.
That's a very quick one to add to what he has said. I will continue to quote Achebe when he said that the problem with Nigeria is fairly and squarely that of leadership. And to sum it all, until we have a strong political will to deal with issues confronting the nation, we'll be dreaming over our development.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's quickly see the Vanguard newspaper, and the banner headline is still talking about the suspended minister. 585 million naira graft, suspended better it do deny access to Tinubu. And we have the riders saying Humanitarian Affairs Minister to appear before EFCC today. As Minister Sadia Umar Farouk leaves in EFCC cell over 44 billion naira scam. We are leaving no stone unturned in fishing out culprits, EFCC vows. Uzodinma Ndume, CSO's Action Aid. Not a signatory to company linked to Beta Edo Interior Minister is saying that. Up there we can see unlawful detention. Court orders federal government to pay SCBN Governor Emefiele 100 billion naira. Who appeals fine. This is coming from EFCC. Insecurity. Gunmen invade Abuja estate, kidnap 10. Office slams federal government over lavish borrowing and spending. UBS surpasses 1 trillion naira market capitalization mark. Can leads protests against continued killings in Plateau. Okay, you can see that Plateau Peace Walk in Jos. See the picture there is showing where they are doing the work. And then we can also see on the sports, AFCON, another big blow for Eagles as injury knocks out Boniface. All right, these and many more the story trending on Vanguard newspaper this morning. Back to you.
Yes, there are a lot of issues contained on the Vanguard newspaper, but I want to quickly react on very few. The clergy, as you can see, yeah, they can. Nobody is happy with what is happening in the area of insecurity in Nigeria, especially in the north. And that is why I love Bishop Matu Kuka. When the former president of Nigeria, President Buhari, was then, he always speaks his mind. He doesn't hide his feelings. He speaks to the president with boldness. On several occasions, he has questioned the president to live up to the expectation of Nigerians. This is exactly what they are demonstrating. Somebody should speak to the president. Somebody has to speak up. Do you understand? The president is commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Nigeria. He has all the resources to maintain security. As a matter of fact, the principal objective or function of the government is to maintain security of life and property of the citizens. Before we enter into social contract theory, as championed by John Locke and Thomas Hobbes, when life was nasty, British and what have you. But at a stage, people came and said, let us surrender our rights to a sovereign government who will look after our needs, our security, our property, and everything. So, as individuals, we surrendered our rights to the government. We now expect that they will provide security of life and properties. If the government is tired of taking care of its citizens, let them allow the citizens to carry arms and defend themselves, if that is the best way. We cannot continue to hear killings everywhere. Yes, we commend the the security apparatus and its agencies. But then, government has a bigger responsibility beyond what is happening. There are insecurities in the northeast, insecurity in southeast, insecurity in everywhere, insecurity. This Christmas period, so many people were kidnapped in various parts of Nigeria. So we cannot continue to demonstrate and, speak on daily basis without seeing practical actions from the government. The federal government must show a high level of responsibility in the area of security so that people can have confidence on their leaders and move free about their businesses.
All right, thank you so much for that. Imandi.
Yes, still on that insecurity. I believe that by now the president should have declared state of emergency on insecurity. By now, he should have done that. And also, by now, there should be synergy between the federal government and the state government on how to protect the lives of citizens in Plateau State. Let's use Plateau as a case study.
Amandi,
And
wouldn't you rather prefer that the federal government investigate the root cause of this insecurity rather
how can they investigate when they have already told the citizens of Plateau State not to defend themselves? The statement was made last week that they shouldn't defend them, that they shouldn't fight again. And now, what are the modalities, what are the implementation that the federal government is doing to protect lives? Let's not talk about properties first. Let's talk about the lives of people that are being killed on daily basis. And funny enough, they give notice before coming. At the end of the day, they implement their plans on every set date that they put in their notice. Why can't there be a joint force of all the security institutions in this country to fight insecurity in Plateau State? If it is a common man now, you hear that the person has been arrested and the person has been prosecuted.
Yeah, even talking about Plateau State, look at what we even have here. This gunmen invade Abuja Estate.
Can you imagine?
So it's not happening in Plateau.
And coming to that of speaking against, let's bring it the way how they detained Nnamdi Kanu, that he is the one causing insecurity in the southeast, and the head of IPOB and all that. When both of us know that even IPOB don't even have any weapon. You see, so I believe that this is a political battle, because you cannot tell me that the president is aware of, okay, even as at last week, the president had the guts to say that he will go into talking terms with the security institutions in the country. Meaning what? This is not the time to start talking. By now, the president must have set up security committee that should be tackling this by zone from different zones of this country to tackle this. I believe that the reason why that they feel less concerned, because this insecurity has not come to their doorstep, because they move around with a lot of security. By the time it gets to their doorsteps, that is the time that they will know that securing the lives of the people that you govern is very, very important, which is the primary assignment of the executive arm of government, and which is also part of the oath they take on the day that they are being sworn in. At the end of the day, they leave Nigerians to be vulnerable. And now you still tell these people that are being attacked that they should not defend themselves. Who talks that way? It is not. It doesn't show any human sympathy on the people that you govern. At the end of the day, you still generate IGRs from that particular state.
Just a few points from what he said. In Nigeria, we have two classes of cases. Cases that are giving political solutions, and cases that are followed legally. I could remember a few weeks ago when there was a political crisis in Rivers State. The president intervened and asked everybody to withdraw their case from the courts and they were able to, make peace. The same crisis, the same issue that is in court, Nnamdi Kalu's matter, court granted him bail. The federal government said they will not obey court order. Just yesterday, the Federal High Court, FCT Court in Abuja, made a pronouncement over MFLA's case. We are waiting to see what will be the reaction of the federal government. From what is obtainable now, they are trying to head to appeal court. So there are some issues that when they come up, there will be a political solution. And there are issues that when they come up, there will be a legal solution, depending on your category in this country. It's not quite unfortunate.
Well, thank you so much for that submission. Now, but then let's go to the next paper we have for review this morning, and that's the Nation newspaper. The banner headline is still talking about the Betta Edu crisis. Betta Edu faces EFCC grilling. And then we also have the Aliyah triumphs at Supreme Court that you can find on page 4. Ayedatiwa rejects forgery claim, that's on page 7. Super Eagles land in Lagos, and UBA crosses 1 trillion capital mark. NEC takes over Disco over poor performance. FEM owes NBET MO 110 billion naira. And then we see on the front page congratulatory message for a birthday for Tom Polo. And let's quickly go to the Guardian and see what we have there. EFCC quizzes embattled Edu orders as anti-graft uproar heightens. Obi deplores huge borrowing, profile gates spending on luxury. Reps blame Agric Ministry for delay in sharing Tinubu's palliative. And the NEC cancels Disco's license over 110 billion debt. Appoints sole administrator. We also have security guards bags live imprisonment over sexual assault. Subscribers suffer service disruption. Over 70 billion interconnect debt. And then we have UBA exceeds 1 million trillion market capitalization mark. And we have the Guardian restructures. Appoints Toke Alex Ibru as CEO. Quickly, let's talk on what we have on these two papers. Well, this one is of interest to every one of us here, as in NEC taking over Disco over poor performance and recording a debt of 110 billion naira, and yet we still don't have constant power supply in this country. And then you begin to wonder, based on even the increase in tariff of electricity bill. What's your take on that, Okabue?
Well, it is not it is no longer a news, because it would have been a news if it has not been happening. Do you understand? The problem with the Nigerian power supply is an inherited one. A country like Nigeria, with all the resources available, is not supposed to be talking about epileptic power supply. Do you understand? Provisions were made for constant power supply in Nigeria. Do you understand?
When?
Provisions were made in the budget for constant power supply. That was why there was this, in Southeast now, we have Enugu electricity power supply. That was how it was shared across the various geopolitical zones in Nigeria. But the question you ask yourself is, what is the causes of this poor power supply? What is the cause? But every year, they have budget on what is needed to ensure that constant power supply is maintained in Nigeria. And these budgets are being released. The question you ask yourself, who is sabotaging the process? And I believe we all know the question. Because if I said, give me 1 billion to provide this phone, and this 1 billion were given to me, and at the end of the day, I come up with story, I will be questioned. Do you understand? So I wouldn't like to dwell more on it because we all know the problem of corruption.
What of the problem of generation? Because you're not even generating enough to carry a population of 210 million.
The issue is we have everything needed to generate it. The question should be, why couldn't we generate it when the resources needed to generate it is there?
Remember that some time ago, Genco's also accused the distribution company
Yeah.
that they generate enough megawatts, but sometimes some of them go to waste because they don't distribute it as it's supposed to be. So if you are talking about generation now, what if we generate more? What are we going to use it for?
Okay. So how do you explain it?
Well, that's a problem for the experts in the power sector to delve into. Amandi, you have anything to say on either of these papers, The Nation and the Guardian?
No.
But this is interesting to know that a security guard backs life imprisonment over sexual assault. No, just like you said, Okawe, not too long ago, in Nigeria, there are certain ways that justice has been meted out. If it's political, it has a political connotation. If it's civil, just as it contains us. Because the speed at which this person backs is probably because he's just a common man. But you can see things that affect you and I, our commonwealth, being stolen, being taken away from us. And nobody talks about any politician going to jail, let alone bagging life imprisonment.
I know you're not supporting someone, assaulting someone.
Of course not.
The point is trying to make is this, that if you say that this is a law, if Mr. A commit this offense, let the same penalty apply for everybody. And not sectional punishment.
In our fundamental human rights, I think number one of it says that every Nigerian citizen, rich or poor, rich or poor, it was stated there, is equal before the law. But unfortunately, the rich are the ones above the law, and the poor are the ones that face the penalty of breaking the law. The rich are the ones above the law. Those are the case of Beta Edu, and let's see how it will end. Because if we check,
are you expecting a life sentence for the corruption?
No, we are expecting the normal thing that will happen, because we have not. I want to challenge EFCC to give us at least 3 to 5 persons that has embezzled or mismanaged public funds, that was arrested,
incarcerated.
Wait now. Arrested, detained, investigated, and prosecuted at the end of the day. Let EFCC give us 5 persons that has handled public office and mismanaged public funds, that has been prosecuted or jailed for doing such a thing. But you see, because if he's a common man, the person will not even be given, the person may not even be given a fair hearing or fair trial. They will just give sentence.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed, hoping this time that EFCC will disappoint us. Yes, because let's not be business as usual. Yeah. Okay, quickly, let's see what we have at the front pages of Daily Trust, Daily Independent, and the Punch newspaper. Let's start with the Daily Trust. The bandits return to Kaduna Abuja Highway at dot 30, block road for 45 minutes. Wow. And then we have there happy birthday to Achiever par excellence. We are talking about Dr. Bele Kyari, Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. This is coming from Tompolo, like he's felicitating with Dr. Mele Kyari. Okay, then quickly let's see what we have on the front page of the Daily Independent. We've seen that EFCC is summoning suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We talked about that. Riwo says Tinubu's action, right step in the right direction. Tinubu's action consistent with law, not questionable. This is coming from Imo State Governor Uzodimma. Probe must establish intention to defraud or ignorance. Again, Court asked federal government to pay MFLA 100 million naira over rights violation. Obi asked federal government to show what it did with a 7.3 trillion naira borrowing, laments pattern of huge borrowing, and profligate spending. We never discovered 100 fake proofs in, profs rather, in Nigeria's varsity, says system. NUC is saying this. Can stages peace work to plateau government house over killings? Federal government activates automated passport application for Nigerians. Kogi government appoints a new Ohinoyi that poses a three monarch. Governor Bello dissolves state ESCO, retains some members. Tinubu fires FCCPC, BPE chief executive officers. And the last paper, report.
Quickly, Tinubu orders 2 trillion naira poverty relief fund probe. Edu faces EFCC today. Security aid stop Edu from meeting President. Buhari minister grilled for 12 hours. And that's the much that we have on the Punch newspaper. Other things that are just birthday felicitations.
Yes. In Kogi State, it was reported that the governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, deposed 4 traditional rulers and made some changes in the cabinet. Let me quickly talk on the 2 issues briefly. One, election has been conducted in Kogi State, and a governor has been elected pending his swearing in. Why is it too necessary and too urgent to change the cabinet, knowing fully well that in less than 2 or 1 month, another government will be coming in? Why is it too urgent? I also heard that he said that those people he appointed will be retained by the incoming government. You see, this is why most times you see the outgoing governor and the incoming having issues, just like what happened in Rivers State. Do you understand? If you are going, don't impose, cabinet on your successor. Okay? Do your normal thing and leave. Let the person constitute his cabinet and forge ahead. If he fails, the people will hold him accountable. If he succeeds, the people will applaud him. On the issue of the deposed traditional rulers, yes, we've seen cases where state governors, who has issues with some traditional rulers, exercise their power. Yes, it is within their power. A governor of state has enormous power. He can sack, he can depose, he can appoint, depending on the code of conduct, especially from the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Community Affairs. So I believe that such action were influenced by something. A few months ago, elections were conducted in Kogi State. It could be possible that those traditional rulers did not support his ambition, and he wanted to pay them back using this action. In Anambra State, under Governor Willie Obiano, some traditional rulers were suspended for taking actions that the state deems out of their interest. But later, few were recalled back and few went, away. So it is a normal thing that happens in government, depending on the path anybody is trending on.
All right. Emmanuel, just before we go, what's your thoughts on this initiative, federal government activating automated passport application for Nigerians? Do you think that with this new move, that corruption in that particular establishment to come to an end? Because from what I read yesterday, I saw that if you want a 32-page passport for 5 years, you are going to pay 25,000 naira. Yeah. And if you want 64 pages for 10 years, you are going to pay 70,000 naira. Okay? Now, it's very clear to all Nigerians how much you are going to pay. But we know that sometimes when you get there, What happened?
Before this one came in, I think sometime last year, they said that the passports won't take more than 1 month to be ready.
Yes.
They told us that. I believe, and first and foremost, I want to suggest, and at a time there was at a time it was now projected that the Ministry of Interior should see over the NIN issue so that the NIN will be used in the passport as well. So this Ministry of Interior, to first and foremost, for this to go well, there are some certain things that should be removed or that should be brought out from the Ministry of Interior. The responsibilities given to them is too much. That is the first step that there should be segregation of powers from that ministry. If possible, let a new ministry be created. Most of if you look at the things that most of these security institutions are under the Ministry of Interior, most of them.
Okay, so you are saying that it needs to be abundant.
Yes, there should be, as in the responsibilities is too much. So there is no way that they will be able to give 100% checks and balances on this new information provided by the federal government. That is the best thing for the federal government to do. Give separation, just separate, take this out from the Ministry of Interior so that this particular ministry or this particular parastatal or this particular agency will be the one that will be checkmating it. Yes.
All right. We really need to go because we have other things for our viewers this morning. And we want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us this morning on Press Review. Thank you so much, Dominic Nnamdi Okabwe, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, our viewers. God bless you all.
And also, Comrade Emanti Ezanago, thank you so much for joining us on Press Review.
Thank you for having me and Happy New Year once again.
We wish you the very best. All right. Thank you so much for being part of Press Review on our Breakfast TV show this morning. We are taking a break right now. We'll be right back. Stay with us.